Breaking: Japan sends terrifying military warning to President Trump. Please pray. North Korea may already have the capability to deliver missiles equipped with sarin nerve agent, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Thursday. His warning came as analysts said North Korea may be preparing for a sixth nuclear test ahead of a key anniversary in the country and following the deployment of a U.S. naval strike group to the region. The security situation around our country is getting increasingly severe, Abe said, who was addressing the Japanese Parliament's Diplomacy and Defense Committee. We have just talked about Syria. There is a possibility that North Korea already has a capability to put sarin on warheads to strike the ground, he said. Abe did not provide any evidence why he felt North Korea had the capability to equip missiles with chemical weapons. Chemical weapons capability. North Korea is one of only 6 countries not to have signed or acceded to the Chemical Weapons Convention and is believed to have large stockpiles of chemical agents, according to the Nuclear Threat Initiative. According to South Korea's 2016 Defense White Paper, North Korea has been developing chemical weapons since 1980. The paper estimates, as of that year, North Korea had 2,500 to 5,000 tons of chemical weapons, including anthrax, smallpox and plague. A 2012 report by the U.S. Department of Defense said that North Korea probably has a long-standing chemical weapons program with the capability to produce nerve, blister, blood and choking agents and likely possesses a chemical weapons stockpile. The report said that stockpile could be deployed by modifying a variety of conventional munitions, including artillery and ballistic missiles. While analysts have been skeptical of North Korean claims about its intercontinental ballistic missiles capabilities, the country possesses a substantial arsenal of conventional missiles capable of striking South Korea and Japan. Tong Zhou, an analyst with the Carnegie Tsinghua Center for Global Policy, told CNN that it appears technically possible to put chemical weapon agents including nerve agents such as VX or sarin in the warhead of a ballistic missile. North Korea was accused of using VX nerve agent in the murder of Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Sarin attacks. Japan is one of only a handful of countries which have experienced a sarin gas attack. In 1995, members of the Aum Shinrikyo cult released sarin gas in the Tokyo subway that led to the deaths of 13 people and sickened more than 5,500 commuters. Abe linked his warning about the North Korean capability to recent chemical weapons attacks in Syria. On April 4, more than 80 people were killed and many more injured in a chemical attack in Idlib province, which the U.S. and its allies blame on the Syrian regime. Innocent citizens, including babies and children, fell victim in Syria, Abe said. As the security situation is getting increasingly severe around our country, we should strengthen the deterrence of the Japan-US alliance based on an appropriate division of roles between Japan and the United States, and continue to study what we must do in order to protect the lives and the assets of the Japanese people. Risk to Japan. While much attention is paid to Pyongyang's threats of striking the U.S. mainland with intercontinental ballistic missiles, South Korea and Japan are the most at risk of North Korean attack. Huge batteries of conventional artillery, missiles and other weapons are capable of striking Seoul, according to a January report by analysis firm Stratfor. Ballistic missiles could strike U.S. military positions beyond the Korean peninsula, specifically in Japan, the report said. Whatever the targets, Pyongyang's existing ballistic missile stockpile could easily deliver approximately 1 kiloton, 1,000 metric tons, of high explosives, as well as other non-conventional munitions, chemical, biological or even nuclear. Multiple recent North Korean missile tests have landed in the waters off the coast of Japan, and last month, state news agency KCNA said units conducting the drills were tasked to strike the bases of the U.S. imperialist aggressor forces in Japan. While Japan has long maintained a pacifist foreign policy following World War II, under Abe the country has moved away from this stance. His government has lobbied to change the constitution to allow Japan to strike overseas targets. It's a miracle. What Melania just did for President Trump will make you cry tears of joy. First Lady Melania Trump wore a stunning lemon yellow Christian Dior dress to accompany her husband for dinner with Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull at the Intrepid Sea Air and Space Museum on the Hudson River. The color has special meaning to Australians, it's their national color. While the event was a chance to reaffirm good relations with Australia, the best part was when veterans were honored during the dinner to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Coral Sea during the Second World War. This battle started America and Australia's partnership and support of each other during world turmoil. President Trump said about Australia and the United States that they're rebellious children of the same parent. The President and First Lady made a triumphant return to New York City after celebrating the House passage of a repeal of Obamacare. Share this post on Facebook if you are proud of our First Lady. What do you think about this? Comment below. Trump just boarded Air Force One, look where he's headed. Independent Journal Review reported that Trump will be traveling to the NATO and G7 summits in Europe in a few weeks. In addition, he will be going to meet the Pope at the Vatican and travel to Saudi Arabia and Israel. A senior White House official told reporters that the Saudis came to the Trump administration shortly following the election, partly to figure out a long-term fix for radicalization. He said Saudi Arabia will be the first stop because they are the custodian of two holy mosques, and at that site they will be convening a lot of the leaders from the Muslim world to discuss issues with radicalization. Why, you'll see in the next weeks that as we get there we're hoping to make certain announcements that will set the framework for how we can accomplish long-term strategic initiatives and objectives of the president and the leaders of that region so that we can have short-term and long-term wins, the aide explained. During his time in Israel, Trump will meet with President Reuven Rivlin and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss Iran, ISIS, and the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. He will then meet with President Mahmoud Abbas of the Palestinian Authority, who was at the White House Wednesday, for further discussions about Middle East peace. I think you're seeing many of these leaders taking a different kind of responsibility, and while there are many challenges between now and then as to what might come as deliverables, and that will be very important, what are the results, I do think there is a moment in time here with a genuine willingness to work close together within the region and within the United States, a senior Trump aide said. What do you think about Trump's plans? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Breaking: Putin issues surprise Trump announcement, media stunned. The mainstream media hates that Trump is capable of working with our rivals. They lie about Trump's connections with Putin and intentionally put pressure on American-Russian relations. Putin has surrendered to Trump's Syrian concerns. In order to protect Syrian civilians, Russian President Vladimir Putin has approved a plan for the establishment of buffer zones, saying, "As far as I understood, the American administration supports these ideas." Trump wins again. This story upsets the mainstream media, big time. These are the types of stories we like to see, patriots. Obama could never have negotiated a deal like this. Trump really is the master of the deal. The left is in full panic mode. They cannot stand seeing Trump succeed. They will try to paint this as a loss, or they will say this is proof Trump has Russian connections. We know this isn't true. After 8 years of Obama, it is nice to finally see a competent president. We need to make sure that more conservatives are voted into office, because this is a great winning streak. The left is having a meltdown. Our military is finally being rebuilt after the devastating Obama era. We will build new ships, tanks, bombs, and weaponry for our brave soldiers. Best of all, we will support our veterans. This is a great change from the past. Obama didn't care about our veterans. He didn't care when the veterans weren't receiving the care they deserved at the Veterans Administration. Now, we will fix our broken system. Liberals don't like the military. I don't understand it, but it is probably because they hate victory and strength. The left doesn't like to compete. They don't understand the point of competition, which is why we need more conservatives. The rhinos are just like the Democrats, they hate competition, as well. Thankfully, Donald Trump is applying pressure to the rhinos, so we will finally drain the swamp. We will take care of Syria, too. The radical Islamic terrorists need to watch out for Trump. With Trump's expert negotiating skills, the whole world will reject radical Islam, and we will restore order. We are not going to let Sharia law replace our system of laws and rules. The left needs to surrender and admit failure. They cannot be trusted, and if Clinton were in office, the Syrian situation would have deteriorated into war. We need to make sure the left doesn't return to power. Obama and Clinton are probably plotting the A grand return, and we shouldn't be surprised by that. Obama is likely furious that Trump has undone all of his job-killing regulations. We now have a pro-American president who cares about us hard-working Americans. What do you think about Putin's announcement? Share this article on Facebook and let us know what you think because we want to hear your voice. Muslim refugees outraged after Arizona finds simple way to get them out of the state. Here's how. Muslim refugees in one particularly savvy state in the nation are fleeing in large numbers to find refuge elsewhere in the U.S. after being sent there in droves from Barack Obama's refugee program. There was nothing this place could do to prevent them from coming, but residents found the perfect plan to get them to leave on their own.